What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Lesser Athletes. My name is Chadwell, and today, like always, another interesting video for you here on the channel. Today, we're talking about NXT's wild, shocking booking they've been having lately. And it's really just me having a conversation over NXT because I think a lot of people don't want to talk about NXT or haven't talked about NXT a lot, like the people I'm kind of looking at content. And, you know, it's been something I've been watching for a while. I feel like at the beginning when I was watching it, you know, I would kind of look at that black and gold era. I'd watch replays. I wasn't a huge fan during some time back then of NXT. I watch replays. Of course, I'm getting knowledge about it. I'm looking back at the film. But of course, I've been watching NXT for, I would say, 2 years now. So NXT, like consistent. I mean, like every week I'm tuning in on NXT. But before that, you know, maybe not as much. Like I'm still like checking in just here and there. So NXT's wild shock booking. We're going to talk about it because I want to talk about NXT. And it's so insane to me what's been going on with Shawn Michaels and how he's been booking NXT. To me, it's been a amazingly booked show. I think you could hear the rumbles, which a lot of people do, of how this is a little better than WWE's booking recently. NXT has been so great. I am excited for the future of NXT. But we're going to talk about some shock bookings and what I ultimately think for the future. So let's start with the first shock booking, which really you could go Tony D'Angelo losing to Shawn Spears title. But no, we have Ricky Saints debuts. A couple weeks later, he's winning the North American title. Now, did anyone expect that? Probably not right away, but it still happened. And the thing is that I wouldn't say this is a domino one of their shock booking. They have had some shock booking with Ethan Page, for example, winning against Trick Williams. They've had some, I'm trying to think of most recent shock booking. I guess the Shawn Spears, Tony D'Angelo, I said before. Tony D'Angelo beating Obafemi. That was a shock booking. Everyone thought Obafemi would beat Trick Williams. I'm just trying to think of just titles in general. I mean, Roxanne over Julia when they first started. Everyone thought Julia would get it before. Yeah, I'm trying to think of just like random shock bookings that we've had. Maybe the Stephanie Valkyrie, but I don't really feel like that. Fallon Henley, maybe. Yeah, there hasn't been really, in my opinion, recent, a lot of shock bookings. But I would have to say that I still believe that this one's a little crazy because fastest debut to win a title. Ricky Saints is obviously amazing. He's going to be great. And there's probably a reason why he recently lost it, which we'll talk about. But yeah, another shock. I still liked it. Still elevates Ricky Saints. Then we have next, which is not working, is Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca wins the Speed Championship, which in my opinion, didn't expect that one. I know she was in the championship for it, but I didn't expect her to win the Speed Championship. When she did, in my head I was like, okay, well, she's not going to win North American title now. Well, to put 2 titles on her, even though one is a fake title, still crazy. And I think it is a little bit of a shock booking. Not entirely like over the top shock. But Sol Ruca winning in the Speed Championship for the North American title was a little bit of craziness because obviously Zaria's in there, Sol Ruca's there. You thought they weren't going to win it. There were some other favorites. Sol Ruca, to me, before seeing the Speed Championship, I had Sol Ruca winning for sure. Then when it came to entering there, I said, okay, probably Zaria's going to win or Kalani Jordan then because would you really give double belts? And they did. And that's the only reason why I didn't choose Sol Ruca to win. I'm very happy for Sol Ruca. She has shown recently in times that why she will be a top star in this company. It's an insane thing, and it's another insane kind of booking that we've had. And then you kind of go to next, Trick Williams wins the TNA Championship. So these are recent ones. Now, these are the 3 that made me really want to make this video, but I extended it back a little bit. My God, Trick Williams wins the TNA Championship. Did anyone think that was going to happen? Because a lot of people, I think, obviously thought there's no way a NXT star was going to win the TNA Championship. They were setting it up pretty good, and when I realized that was main eventing and not Obafemi versus Miles Bourne, I knew, Trick Williams actually might win this, which he did. Now, a lot of people like to say, okay, well, you're screwing over TNA, you're screwing over Joe Hendry, whatever. Let's be honest here. I would not be making a video over the TNA championship and whatever if it wasn't for Trick Williams winning this. It's the eyes and everything and the business behind it, why it happens. Yes, it sucks a not TNA person's winning a championship and it's going to a WWE championship. I get it. But with this partnership, you're getting eyes and you're actually getting, I bet when you look at the business side of it, TNA is probably very, very happy about this. I would be happy if I was with Trick Williams, getting Trick Williams, especially who everyone thinks is a up-and-coming superstar who's going to main event WrestleManias. Trick Williams, I'd be excited about having my championship. And how do I see it going? Do we get Mike Santana taken away from him? Is it Joe Hendry in the future? Is it a Trick versus Moose in the future if he drops the X Division champion? Is it just so many different possibilities, and that's what we like. So another shock booking, but I do believe that this is ultimately a good thing for them. And then we have next up, Ethan Page wins the North American title. Another shock booking. To start off the show, we get Ethan Page winning the North American title from Ricky Saints. Now, obviously, I think in my head when this happens, I go, okay, if this is the case, then maybe the storyline setting up for Ricky Saints to maybe go for the main title for NXT, and now he's kind of done with this. Ethan Page is there, even though I think Ethan Page is main roster ready whenever, just not doing it. Which you have to think, I think today when I'm recording this is a year since he debuted. In 1 year, he's got the North American title and NXT title. That's insane. Absolutely insane. And good for Ethan Page. Now, a lot of people want to say, well, he's going down for a title when he just had an NXT championship. I don't necessarily think that. It's still a championship. Gotta love it for Ethan Page. I will talk about what else I think it will be like for Ricky Saints, but we'll talk about that a little later. It's mixed in with a lot of things. Then let's go with why I kind of made this video. The shock of JC Jane beating Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT title. I have to be honest with you, and I'm not a liar on this channel. I did not get to watch the last hour of NXT. And I thought, you know what? I'll watch the highlights. I'll look back at it. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. We know what's happening. Missed out on this moment. If the crowd didn't show, if the sudden silence didn't show, if everyone just not saying anything didn't show it, Stephanie Vaquer losing this title was one of the biggest shocks we've seen in NXT history. I still don't feel like this is real, that JC Jane's the women's NXT title holder right now. Now, why did they do this? We're going to talk in a second. What I could see from this is JC Jane either losing this to Fallon Henley, obviously making Fatal Influence feel a little bit more important. And really just, I believe this elevates JC Jane. I know a lot of people love JC Jane and thought JC Jane was up there, I included. But when you think about it, we have the Jada Parkers, and I'm taking away Jordynne Grace and Stephanie Vaquer for a second. We have the Jada Parkers, we have the Kalani Jordans, the Solrukas, the Zarias, the oh my god, who else am I thinking of? There's some other. The Hale you can throw in there. Lash Legend is another one. These are women that could be at the front run, and when people stepped away, aka what's probably gonna happen, giving a title to a JC Jane shoots up her to the top. I mean, obviously she has the title, but my god, does it shoot her all the way to the top. Next, we're gonna see maybe feuds with Kalani, Jada Parker, Lash Legend. You're going to see these great feuds where you're really going to see these new stars shoot all the way up, and it should happen. It's a developmental show. Insane. Absolutely insane. Now, what do I ultimately think of this? I think, obviously, because of the rumors, Stephanie Vaquer and Jordynne Grace are going to the main roster. Rumors have it, Stephanie's going to Raw, Jordynne Grace is going to SmackDown, which makes me think Stephanie actually could win this Royal Rumble in 26. And Stephanie, I think there's... Okay, let me also say this. I think there could be a draft before, like right before SummerSlam. You could also have it right after Night of Champions, right before with Evolution. There's so many routes you could do. I'm trying to think of other places. Maybe Money in the Bank, I guess. Well, if Money in the Bank's early June, late June, maybe between that Money in the Bank Night Champions area. What I have to say is, I do believe that Stephanie Vauquer and Jordynne Grace are going to the main roster after this. Now, this is why. You wouldn't let Stephanie lose this if you didn't have ideas. Maybe it is her winning it back from JC Jane. Maybe it's something like that. I ultimately believe it's her probably going to the main roster because we all know she's ready. Jordynne Grace, on the other hand, I thought she would be the one to dethrone Stephanie Vauquer to make her go to the main roster. But instead, we have Jordynne Grace going to the main roster. And I see it. I thought she was going to go main roster right away. Didn't happen. And then I also want to say, I believe Ricky Saints could go to the main roster. I think you could try and throw Lash Legend in there. I don't think so. I don't think he should. But I think it should be Ricky Saints. I thought Ethan Page could. Trick Williams, I don't think is going to get pushed because of the TNA Championship. I just think it's Ricky Saints, Stephanie, and Jordynne Grace are the three for sure. And then you have some floaters on the side. But yeah, I think ultimately those are the three. I think the other ones that you've already wanted to go there, aka, well, if Ethan Page loses right away, then I could see Ethan Page too. But you wanted Fraxium to go. You wanted Julia. You wanted Roxanne to go. Perfect. I really do believe the reason why we're having all these shock bookings is because we're ultimately getting to a draft coming up. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.